On December 13, 1937, Japanese troops closed in on the city of Nanking. Gunfire and screams spilled across the helpless population. Today, we look back upon the Nanking Massacre with a grim tone, serving as an important reminder of the small space between civility and brutality. The Nanjing Massacre Memorial Museum depicts a brutal history laying out the horrific potential of human beings, and attempts to warn future generations from mirroring a similar tragedy. However, the museum in its current state serves more as propaganda to promote an anti-Japanese mentality rather than a reflection of the tragedy. Little effort is made to capitalize on an important motto within the museum: forgivable but not forgettable. The museum takes no steps to forgive the Japanese, but instead quickly turns against them and serves to further fraternize today's Chinese generation, as seen in the museum's epilogue.
The Nanjing Memorial is just one example of contemporary anti-Japanese propaganda that is so widespread in today's China. Ironically, such propaganda follows a similar format to Japanese media during the Sino-Japanese War by implementing core ideologies such as Bushido and Kokutai. Bushido emphasizes loyalty to one's family and nation, which is both prevalent in Japanese education and contemporary Chinese entertainment sources, such as television soap operas or films. Kokutai describes the belief of ethnic superiority as a result of integrity in moral conduct. This is also apparent throughout Japanese wartime cinematography and the Nanjing Massacre Museum, where protagonists are portrayed as helpless yet morally superior beings. Such an approach to educate today's population of Sino-Japanese history is a shocking mirror image of the Japanese approach during the early 1930s. In order to prevent a violent repercussion of anti-Japanese media exposure, individual grudges must fade and forgiveness must prevail. Our group acknowledges that the events that happened in Nanjing were horrific, but does not wish to further exacerbate the hatred between the two races by further illustrating the event. Instead, we hope to alleviate such tension.
In order to decide what modification we would make to the existing museum to enforce the message of mutual peace, we looked to one of the massacre's most important figures, John Rabe. He claimed that the event was forgivable but not forgettable, now serving as the museum's motto. Learning from this concise and progressive response, we have developed a driving purpose to our design. Our design strives to balance subjective hatred prevalent throughout the contemporary anti-Japanese propaganda in the museum. By allowing viewers to reflect on the event on a humanitarian level, the memorial exits its nationalistic agenda and ultimately places viewers at a state of mutual peace that is needed in today's rapidly advancing society. In simpler terms, we intend to put the memorial back in the museum.
To us, a memorial serves as both a symbol of remembrance and mourning. We feel that the current memorial is ineffective in doing so. The main memorial hall serves as a documentation of the event as opposed to a memorial. Our group felt that a place for mourning was necessary in order to make the memorial effective. We felt that the information presented in the Nanjing Memorial is credible and reliable enough to become a platform for implementing a progressive sense of forgiveness. Although information was laid out in depth, little space was implemented for personal reflection. This informed our decision to redesign the museum's existing meditation hall in an attempt to provide a more intimate space for contemplation and reflection.
The general structure of our building is inspired by the Yad Vashem Memorial in Israel. These two balanced panels have been reinterpreted to resemble the character Ren, meaning humanity in both Chinese and Japanese. Throughout the building, we continue to use both traditional Chinese and Japanese cultural and architectural elements to help view all parties involved simply as people rather than victim and perpetrator, or Japanese and Chinese. By highlighting cultural similarities, we bring a sense of cultural unity to the museum goers, further enforcing our message of mutual peace, forgiveness, and harmony. The entrance takes inspiration from the Temple of Heaven in Beijing, as well as the round doors that are common throughout Japanese gardens. Above the entrance lies the Chinese translation of John Rabe's quote, which plays a crucial role in informing our design choices. In addition, a traditional lattice pattern is apparent on the exterior windows and interior benches. After entering, Viewers will descend 3 meters using either the staircase or the wheelchair-accessible ramp onto a rounded platform surrounded by water. This underground section of the hall serves as a place of mourning and reflection.
Museum goers will first notice the two statues holding an umbrella that features a blend of patterns from both Chinese and Japanese cultures. This umbrella is used to shelter the pair from the darker potential of human beings, and is shared between both individuals. Viewers will notice that the figures are looking into the reflecting pool, where you can see the reflection of a name wall concealed behind the inner wall. When they raise their heads, visitors will see a famous quote in both Japanese and Chinese from Ba Jin, a prominent 20th century Chinese writer. The quote reads, "The hope of humanity is like an eternal star. The clouds cannot hide its brightness, especially today. Peace is not only an ideal, a dream, it is the hope of many." This quote will also assist in making the message more explicit. After paying their respects and possibly offering flowers in the provided flower boxes, museum goers will then ascend towards the natural light and through the exit. This ascension shows museum goers re-emerge and rise back into society. Upon exiting, they will encounter a bonsai tree. This tree will be the final symbol of hope and unification between the two cultures. Our group strived to create an energy-efficient building with low carbon emissions. In order to meet this goal, our group constructed most of our memorial underground. This came with many advantages in terms of energy conservation. Having an underground building means that the interior is less susceptible to extreme deviations in outdoor temperature. This is because there is a reduced amount of conduction. Conduction is the transfer of energy through matter from particle to particle. It is the transfer and distribution of heat energy from atom to atom within a substance. When a substance is heated, particles will gain more energy and vibrate more. Because there are more particles between the air and the interior space, in this case the soil, the thermal energy from the atmosphere collides with the ground particles and will be more evenly distributed.
The other way thermal energy is transferred is through convection. Convection occurs when warmer areas of a fluid rises to the cooler area at the top. This is more of a problem with the underground building as the space is enclosed and insulated. To solve this problem and get rid of excess thermal energy, our group placed a ventilation system to regulate airflow and make sure the interior space does not get too hot or too cold.
Our use of materials also helped energy efficiency, along with keeping moisture levels under control, a crucial problem that comes with building underground. Plant-based polyurethane rigid foam was used as insulation between the walls. This foam has high levels of moisture and heat resistance. This helps with reducing conduction from the outside while keeping the place dry, preventing condensation inside and damage to the interior structure. We also use a ceramic aluminum barrier coating on the interior walls and ceiling to prevent excessive thermal transfer, as aluminum is highly reflective to infrared radiation. This material also serves as a vapor retarder. Finally, in response to COP21 building regulations on CO2 emissions, we decided to make a mostly low-tech building. The only facilities that require energy in this small hall are a small amount of lights, a ventilation system, and a water filter. We also used bio-based materials as insulation, further supporting the ideas suggested in COP21.
In essence, our new meditation wing balances the feeling of hatred focused on in the main part of the museum by introducing a new perspective to the well-known tragedy. Once viewers are given a proper and significant place to mourn and reflect, they will take the first steps to re-establishing their sense of empathy towards the Japanese population, develop a sense of peace pertaining to their losses, and hopefully prevent such a catastrophe from occurring in the near future. It is this that should be the true purpose of the Nanjing Memorial.